It's been a while since I've talked about anything with Pokemon on the channel, and that's mainly because there really isn't a lot to discuss. Like, we know that this year there's going to be Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, which is going to be coming out towards the end of the year in the fall and the winter, and because it is going to be DLC coming out this year and not like a new game, you're not really going to be seeing a ton of news and information about Pokemon throughout this year, so it's really not going to be like a ton of stuff to discuss, and that's really kind of why I've been talking about other things on the channel like Zelda and the brand new Nintendo Switch system that's rumored to be coming out next year and things like that. But it seems like now we do have a little bit of information potentially to discuss about Pokemon and the Scarlet and Violet DLC, so I kind of do want to talk about this and give you guys my thoughts. Now, this information is coming from this person on Twitter. So there's this person named Eclipse on Twitter, which I've seen a lot of people talking about this person. I don't know if he actually has like inside information in terms of being a leaker or something like that, but it seems like this person is like a Pokemon theorist who makes a lot of tweets and theories about like stuff like, we can see here like TCG lore and things like that. So they made this really kind of ominous tweet yesterday where they said, we'll be getting Pokemon news next week. But of course, this is very vague, like it's not referring to anything specific. So yeah, I mean, maybe we will get Pokemon news next week, but like we don't know anything about what this could be referring to. Is this talking about Scarlet and Violet's DLC? Is this talking about other stuff? We don't know for sure, but I did have somebody tell me that we are going to be getting that Pokemon Home update, which I think is going to be coming out next week too, where it's going to be the Pokemon Home update that allows you to be able to bring Pokemon from like Legends Arceus and being able to transfer Pokemon into Scarlet and Violet. So is there going to be new information alongside that when we get that information next week? Maybe it's possible. But I feel like they could potentially give us a tease for something else too in terms of the Scarlet and Violet DLC. So if there was any new information coming out in terms of that, it will be pretty exciting. But yeah, it's just something to, I guess, keep in the back of your head, because I guess next week we could potentially be in store for some type of Pokemon news. Now, the big thing that I want to talk to you guys about is actually this post that was made here on Reddit, where we can see here on the Pokemon Leaks forum, this has a ton of upvotes, and apparently it's unverified, but they're saying here this is coming from somebody who actually leaked a lot of big stuff in the past. So I don't know exactly who this person Socrates is, but they're saying here, guys, I have a response from the guy on Twitter. So I guess he asked like their source for information about Pokemon, and they gave us a lot of information. There's only one thing in here that I'm kind of like really confused by, which I'll talk about. But looking at the information here, it says the Pokemon Ogerpon, which we saw in the Pokemon Presents video, is going to be a grass and ghost Pokemon, and it's apparently going to be a dead king. So that could be some crazy lore if true. And then here is the only one that's a little bit weird to me. It says Okidogi is a bug and dark type Pokemon. Now, have you guys seen what that Pokemon looks like? It looks like some type of bear or something like that. Like I do not see anything that resembles a bug at all. So how could this Pokemon be a bug? That's the only thing that I don't understand in this leak. Like, I feel like everything else could be possible here, but I don't know how this Pokemon could be a bug type. But then again, Pokemon does really weird things. Like, we have a sushi Pokemon, which is a dragon. That makes no sense. Like, how is the sushi supposed to be a dragon? So I guess they could just make up types, but like bug just seems so weird to me. I don't know. Then it just says here, Monkey Dory is going to be a water and dark type. And then Pheasant Pity is going to be flying and dark. So I guess that's referring to the other two legendaries, or the other group of Pokemon that we saw in that trailer. And then it says here, all three of them has an obtainable item that changes their dark typing into the fighting type and boosts a stat like Zacian's sword. So that's pretty interesting. So I guess it's going to be some type of item that can let you get a stat boost, but then also be able to change the typing. That's interesting. It'll probably have some type of like story or lore around it, I would imagine, with where these Pokemon come from, why they exist in these areas, and stuff like that. Then it says here, Ogerpon has something similar, but not changing its typing. So I guess it's going to be just an ability or an item that you give to it, and it'll increase its stat, but it's not actually going to change the typing into anything. Then we got information here about that blue Pokemon, the blue turtle, which is probably going to be the third legendary, Terrapagos. And it says here, Terrapagos is going to be a rock and psychic Pokemon, but it can Terra into everything in battle. Now, of course, this Pokemon has a really, really cool design. I'm sure you guys see there's literally icons for every single typing on this Pokemon. Like, it has the icon for like fire types and fairy types and steel types and all of that. So it's a really cool looking Pokemon. But a lot of people are confused by what they mean here by it can Terra into everything in battle. Do you mean like it's going to Terra into every typing at once? I don't think that that's possible. I don't think you're going to have 18 different Terra types at the same time. That would be really kind of dumb. I think what this is trying to say here is that it's going to be some type of special Terra type where it's probably going to change into whatever is the most beneficial, and it's probably only going to be in like the single player, like while you're playing the game alone. Like you're probably not going to be able to use this Pokemon online or anything. But it makes sense because if you guys have played Pokemon Legends Arceus, there was actually a special plate, I'm pretty sure, that you could give to Arceus, which allowed Arceus to change its typing to whatever was super effective against the opponent. Like whichever one was the best one that it could change into during that battle, that's what it would turn into. So I'm assuming it's something like that, where whatever you Terra into, it's going to be like whatever the best Terra type is against your opponent. This Pokemon definitely seems like it's going to be kind of like the master of Terra typing, so it makes a lot of sense to me that it would probably have that ability to do that. Then it just says here that Scarlet is going to get apparently a Eevee Dragon Paradox, and Violet is going to get a Pikachu Vending Paradox. So it seems like that these are going to be like Paradox forms from the past and the future. So Scarlet is apparently going to be getting some type of Eevee Dragon from the past, which seems kind of cool, but it is a little bit interesting because it's apparently just going to be like a separate Pokemon. Obviously, these Paradox Pokemon just count as like their own thing, even though they look like another Pokemon. So this wouldn't be like a Dragon type evolution, which a lot of people have been asking for ever since Sylveon was revealed back in like Gen 6. But I guess, you know, we could potentially be getting an Eevee Dragon, which could look pretty cool. And then Violet is apparently going to be getting a Pikachu Vending Paradox, or like a Pikachu vending machine. We even have some really cool fan art of it, which I'll put up on screen for you guys right now. So you can see right here that this is like a fan art of what that potentially could look like, which I guess could be kind of interesting. I mean, we have seen like robotic Delibird and stuff like that, so they could probably come up with something creative for that too. Then it says here that there's going to be terraforms for at least 30 Pokemon right now, and they are really cool. So this is kind of the big secret that apparently even that person who leaked everything in the Pokemon Presents was talking about, where it seems like there's going to be specific Terra types now that you're going to be able to give to Pokemon, where it's actually going to change up their appearance. So basically like how Gigantamaxing existed for Generation 8, where everybody could Dynamax, but some Pokemon had their specific Gigantamaxes. This is going to be like a specific Terra type that you can have Pokemon turn into like a specific new kind of design for like how they look all crystallized, and it's going to be exclusive to certain Pokemon, which apparently according to this leak, there's going to be about 30 Pokemon that can do that, which would be a really good amount. Then they say here there's going to be no new regional variants or correlated species. I'm assuming that means like evolutions, like the convergence stuff, like the Toedscruel and all of that. So yeah, it seems like no other, like you're not going to be seeing Paldean forms or anything like that. And then finally, it says here, this is weird, but they are doing some really good balance changes, like major buffs for some really bad Pokemon and also some nerfs for some really good Pokemons, not Goldango though. This would also be a little bit interesting. I don't think that they have ever done any type of kind of like Pokemon balance changes in the middle of kind of like the actual lifespan of the game. I don't think they've ever done this. So this would be like a first for the Pokemon like series if they actually like kind of have this, and then that Pokemon like Dondozo, I think it's called, which everybody uses because of how broken it is in competitive. Like if this actually like nerfs its stats or something, that would be kind of insane if they do that in the middle of a generation, like with the DLC update. But this could also just be referring to kind of indirect updates, where maybe it's just going to be like, you know, Pokemon getting access to better moves or something like that, because that technically can still be considered a buff or a nerf. Like if you take away a Pokemon being able to use Toxic, or if you take away a Pokemon being able to learn something or something like that, I feel like that can still be considered a buff and a nerf. So maybe it's referring to something like that and not actually like literally changing the stats of Pokemon, but who knows? I mean, either way, I feel like if it does make for a more diverse competitive scene, and if they are going to be nerfing and buffing Pokemon, that does make me pretty excited, because competitive battles are pretty fun to watch, and I do like to do them from time to time as well. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see if we get any news next week. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button, and also subscribe to the channel as well, as I'm going to be having some more Pokemon videos very soon. But also comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that we are going to be seeing something next week? How do you guys feel about these potential leaks and rumors? What do you guys feel about it? Do you think that they could be real? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.